In the dimly lit prison cell, John Hartley paced restlessly, his mind consumed by a single thought: escape. He had been confined within these gray walls for 5 long years, paying the price for a crime he had committed in a moment of desperation. But John had changed. He had served his time, and he was determined to regain his freedom. Late at night, when the guards were preoccupied with their routines, John meticulously crafted a plan. He had observed the prison's routines and weaknesses over the years, and he knew that his best chance lay in exploiting them. One evening, as dusk settled over the prison yard, John began putting his plan into action. He had managed to acquire a small tool from a fellow inmate, hidden within the confines of his cell. It was a crude but effective implement, capable of unlocking doors and removing screws. With his heart pounding in his chest, John approached the cell door. His hands shook with nervous anticipation as he inserted the tool into the keyhole and carefully turned it. The lock clicked open, and a surge of adrenaline coursed through his veins. Stepping into the corridor, John moved silently, hugging the shadows. He knew that he had to avoid any encounters with the guards. Every step brought him closer to freedom, and he was determined not to be caught. As he maneuvered through the labyrinthine hallways, John recalled the blueprints of the prison etched into his memory. He made his way to the maintenance area, knowing that it would provide an opportunity to slip past the guards unnoticed. With utmost care, he removed a grate from the floor and descended into the narrow, musty tunnels below. For what seemed like an eternity, John crawled through the cramped passageways, dirt clinging to his clothes and sweat trickling down his forehead. Doubts crept into his mind, but he pushed them aside, clinging to the hope of a life beyond these walls. Finally, John emerged into the open air. Beneath a moonlit sky that seemed to beckon him forward, the surrounding landscape was unfamiliar, but he knew that he had to keep moving. He had a long journey ahead of him. Days turned into nights as John traversed rugged terrain. Relying on his wits and survival instincts, he traveled by foot, keeping off main roads and seeking refuge in abandoned buildings or forests. Whenever possible, each passing day brought him closer to his goal. Weeks later, exhausted but filled with determination, John reached a small town. He blended into the crowd, careful not to draw attention to himself. He found work at a local farm, earning a meager wage that sustained him as he continued his clandestine existence. Months turned into years, and John managed to build a new life for himself. He saved every penny, preparing for the day when he could finally shed his false identity and start anew. The past became a distant memory, a reminder of the person he had once been, but had long since left behind. And so John Hartley, the man who had been locked away, found his redemption. He escaped not only from the confines of the prison, but also from the shackles of his past. As he stood on the threshold of a new beginning, he vowed to make every moment count, cherishing the freedom he had fought so hard to regain.